Hey there, nation, and welcome to the show where we help you to play miniatures wargaming on a budget. It is I, Commander Cheapskate, and we are back on another episode of Into Darkness, our series that is dedicated to our Space Station Zero solo play campaign. And this is battle point number 7. This is a disused repair base scenario that is fought between myself and against the threats of Space Station Zero. And the reason why is because Into Darkness is a solo play campaign, so we'll be taking my crew, which is Thundrik's Profiteer, which is a shipping crew from the vessel known as the Skyfarer, as they travel through the depths and challenges of Space Station Zero. So for those of you guys who are tuning in for the very first time, Space Station Zero is a miniatures agnostic skirmish game with a wonderful co-op as well as solo play campaign system developed by Snarling Studios. For those of you guys who remember, Snarling Studios is the brainchild of Adam Loper of Tabletop Minions, as well as Vince Venturilla of Warhammer Weekly fame. They actually made a game called Space Station Zero, where you can either do cooperative or solo play campaign, where you travel to the depths of a derelict space station and the deepest parts of space. So I've been going through 6 different scenarios so far, and this is challenge number 8 of my 7th battle report on this series, which is a derelict bay. So that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take some background pictures real quick, play some background music, talk about the scenario rules for this one, as well as our crew's roster, and we'll get this battle report on a roll. Challenge 4, Disused Bay. This bay's original purpose has been largely lost to time. It's now little more than scattered remnants of ancient technology, broken down machines, and unrecognizable alien artifacts. Many of these collections of ancient tech are suspended precariously from the beams of the ceiling. The ceiling itself has largely fallen away, revealing rows of pipes that are leaking strange fluid into the room. So when it comes to the Disused Bay challenge, this one's pretty simple. I have 3 obstacles and enemies I have to take care of, which are flying drones, broken pipes, as well as hanging junk. Now the flying drones have a stat of 5 life, 10 movement, 4 combat, 4 reaction, and 1 intelligence, and they're armed with laser scatter guns, which causes a +3 to their attacks and its range energy attack. At the same time, they also have a special ability called Evasion. When making a combat challenge test defensive roll against a close weapon, the flying drones may increase their combat by 1. So these guys, I have 6 of these guys I have to take on, so I do have my work cut out for me on those ones. Another one we have, of course, are broken pipes, and what ends up happens whenever a crew member activates, they must make a life save of 2. If they fail, the suffered damage equal to the amount by which they failed the test. Now, a character that has the fly ability may attempt to repair these broken pipes using a reaction test 3. If this is successful, the life challenge test has been reduced by 1 for every single success that you actually do. At the same time, we also have the hanging junk challenge. Whenever a crew member or flying drone makes a combat challenge test with a ranged weapon and rolls a critical failure, the scattered shot hits and dislodges one of the piles of suspended junk hanging from the ceiling. Randomly determine a crew member targeting from all crews participating. That crew member must then make a movement save of 10. If they fail, they suffer damage equal to the amount by which they failed the test. Now for the rewards for this one is once I conclude the challenge, I can make a reaction challenge test of 6. If I do, I find an ancient alien piece of tech known as a knowledge shard, which I'll get at the end of the turn. So the scenario rules over with, let's go ahead and talk about the actual statistics for Thundrik's Profiteers. So the challenges on this one is pretty straightforward. What I have to do is I have to eliminate these 6 drones. So as you can see, I have 2 drones located here on hoverboards, represented by our Vanguard gangers, as well as a Vanguard ganger here on the top of the cargo containers. So these 3 I have to eliminate. At the same time, I also have 3 more that I have to eliminate. 2 are located over here next to these cargo containers, as well as 1 more mounted on top. And once I eliminate these guys, of course, I win the scenario. At the same time, I do have to worry about debris falling from the sky in case these androids make missed shots. They can have a stray shot that can bring down some debris crashing down from the ceiling of this cargo bay. At the same time, I also have to worry about toxic gas leaking into it as well. So if I take some reaction tests and have the fly ability, I can actually stop that from occurring. Now down here in the deployment area, of course, is Thundrik's Profiteers. This is my crew. Over here in the front, that is Thundrik, that is my commander. Followed by Garrett Allenson, my pilot. Right next to him I have Deadeye Lund, which is my engineer. Back over here, of course, I got Kazgan Drakskewer, which is my my soldier as well, and of course I have my medical doctor over here as well. So Enric Ironhelm, my engineer, is up here in the front. Deadeye Lund, my doctor, is over here as well. So I do have my work cut out for me. Pretty much my plan is to actually have Garrett Allenson actually fly up and do reaction tests to try to stop the gas that's leaking into the area and killing my guys, and then from there I plan on just traveling en masse moving together as a team to take out this team, and then make my way to destroy this team here, and then hopefully I can end the challenge without having any of my guys being lost. So far, I've been lucky so far, but the challenges are growing exponentially, so we'll see what happens. And of course, if you wonder where the terrain is from, the terrain is primarily Gallow Dark terrain from Kill Teams into the Dark. So Magic score their starter box set for pretty cheap actually on Amazon. So because of that, I'll use that. We also have some cargo containers that are made by our man Iron Major, our Managing Terrain Wizard. Really like the way this table came out so far. So let's get this battle report on a roll. End of turn 1, we had a lot of dramatic things taking place, so let's go and talk about what happened. First of all, I suffered my very first casualty in this campaign with Gerald Allenson, my pilot. I activated him first, and using his jump boots as a fly ability, he flew up to the roof in order to deactivate the nerve gas that was slowly coming into the pipes in this challenge. Basically, I get 3 reaction challenges. I managed to ace that no problem, so because that the rest of my crew doesn't have to worry about actually taking any damage from life tests from that nerve agent. Unfortunately, Gerald Allenson, because he activated first, he did fail that life test, so he suffered 2 damage, so he was already a third of the way gone. From there, the AI system, of course, activated the very first of the drones, which is this guy right over here, who is now currently out of action. He actually flew up and actually opened fire with his energy weapon directly into Gerald Allenson. Scored 3 12s, if you can believe it. Managed to put a deep 6, my friend. So because of that, Gerald Allenson will need to roll up on the injury table to see exactly what happened to him. Now, then, of course, I did manage to activate a second time. So my second activation, I said, did I Lund my medical officer? He moved up his normal wound allowance and opened fire with his energy weapon directly into this drone that is currently out of action. Managed to put 4 wounds onto him, so that part was impressive. And then from there, of course, the very first AI activated. So first of all, one of these drones actually moved to Bjorg and Thundrik, tried to take him out of the energy attack, but failed, so wasn't able to do so. And then from there, Bjorn and Thundrik actually moved up to this area and opened fire with his energy weapon. Managed to score 2 12s on my critical successes. Managed to deep 6 this drone over here, which is fantastic. Now from there, of course, goes back to the rest of the activations. I believe another drone moved up forward. Yes, this drone over here moved up forward, trying to engage and try to shoot, but unfortunately was able to do so. And then from there, the rest of my team just kind of swarmed up forward. Kazgan Draxskewer moved up forward, attacked that drone, managed to finish him off with the last of his close combat attacks. And Kazgan Draxskewer is also showing exactly why he's the deadliest fighter in my crew. The rest of the turn was dedicated to these 3 drones here who tried to do a launch attacks directly against Kazgan Draxskewer. Unfortunately for them, though, they just flowed their rules for the most part, so he is perfectly fine. So that pretty much makes up turn number 1 on this battle report. So with turn number 1 over with, we go directly to the top of turn number 2, and I activate first. So here we are at the end of turn number 2. So as you can see, quite a bit of action took place for the most part. Pretty much just a massive brawl has been breaking out right here in the middle of the table between these drones as well as myself. So first of all, as you can see by the end result, when it's all said and done, I was able to take out another one of these drones with a combination between the attacks between Kazgan Draxskewer as well as Enric Ironhail, my engineer. Kazgan Draxskewer was able to put 3 wounds directly onto this drone, while Enric Ironhail moved up one of his movement allowances and opened fire with his heavy kinetic weapon directly into him, finishing him off at the same time. Meanwhile, the rest of these attacks between these drones directly to Kazgan Draxskewer, I was able to wound him once, so got pretty lucky that way. Up here in the top, this drone was able to put 1 wound directly onto Bjorg and Thundrik, and then Bjorg and Thundrik was able to put down 2 wounds directly onto him with help from my medical doctor, Deadeye Lund, as well. As at the same time, I didn't have to take any life tests for the poison gas because luckily for me, Gerald Allenson manages to deep 6 that challenge before he died. So I have 3 more of these drones left I got to take care of. I do have some wounds for right now, and I am down 20% casualties because my pilot got taken out of action, but so far so good for my team. So at the end of turn number 2, we go directly to the top of turn number 3, and I get to go first because I have priority. So here we are at the end of turn number 3. As you can see, quite a bit of damage took place here in the center of the table. Just a huge melee just kind of broke out right here between all the close combat attacks and close range shooting. So the first activation I activated first was Kazgan Draxskewer. Kazgan Draxskewer, my soldier, was able to put 2 wounds directly onto this drone on the left-hand side. Luckily for me, though, I was able to steal initiative for the next activation, so because I didn't activate my engineer, Enric Ironhail. Now, Enric Ironhail actually used a logistical expert ability that my commander actually gives, Bjork and Thundrik. He was able to move twice his movement allowance score directly to the left-hand side of the battlefield, so he's got a good line of sight directly at his enemy. He then opened fire with his heavy kinetic weapon, and I actually managed to get like 3 12s on this one, so because that, I was able to kill this drone pretty easily, all things considered. Now from there, the next drone, of course, up here at the top, decided to activate next to try and put attacks directly into Bjork and Thundrik. Unfortunately for it, though, it failed to do anything from there. From there, of course, it then activated Bjorgen Thundrik, and Bjorgen Thundrik just unloaded directly onto this guy. Was able to put, I think, like 4 wounds directly onto him, so because I was able to kill this guy right off the bat was all kinds of fantastic. Unfortunately for me, Diddleland did try attack next, trying to open gauge and kill shooting attacks with this guy, but unfortunately for him, though, he failed his shooting attacks, so not much really happened from there. But that's perfectly fine, though, because now I'm entering round 4 and only have 1 drone left before I end up this challenge. So that being said, we'll go directly to our activation for turn number 4. So that directly to the end of turn number 4. So for turn number 4, as you can see here, managed to finally kill off the very last of the drones. The first thing I did is I activate Kazgan Draxker, who moved directly behind this drone, so that way he was outside the field of fire. I was able to put 2 wounds directly onto him. I then was able to steal the next activation, so because I didn't activate Enric Ironhail opened up with his heavy kinetic weapon directly into this guy. I managed to get 3 12s on that one. So because I was able to deep 6 this guy and kill him as well, and pretty much kill all the drones on the battlefield, and successfully was able to win the challenge of the Disused Bay. So that because of that, we go directly to the post game, because for oddly enough, we actually have some things taking place in the post game this time around, because I did lose a person. At the same time, I also managed to find a knowledge shard as a reward for this. So we'll be right back and talk about the post game. So now it's time for the post game, so let's go ahead and talk about exactly what I ended up finding out for the knowledge shard. So what ended up happening is I choose one of my crew members and may increase any stat of my choice by 1. So because I decided to pick Kazgan Draxker to be the one to actually use the knowledge shard, actually increased his combat score by 1, making him combat score 6 now. And this is what the knowledge shard reveals. It says the crew member that touches the strange alien artifacts falls to the floor and begins convulsing. This quickly subsides, but they remain unconscious for a few minutes. The unconscious crew member experiences a vision of the space station that existed in the past. The bays are clean, crisp, and new. Hundreds of strange alien races that they do not recognize are moving through the station, intermingling and laughing. The mission moves from bay to bay, all active and humming with conversation energy. Hundreds and thousands of different species, all utilizing the powerful technology of the space station to craft incredible wonders. As the vision moves to the center of the station, they see only a bright light, the vision end, and the crew member awakens. So once again, it's getting a little bit closer to the mystery of what Space Station Zero is all about. So it looks like at one time in the ancient past, this space station actually fulfilled a very significant purpose for these different aliens and their civilization. But for right now, though, the mystery still remains. As for recoveries on this one, I got really lucky on this one. I did lose Garrett Allenson, my pilot in this scenario. He went out of action, but luckily for me, though, I rolled a full recovery, so no harm, no foul as well. The entirety of my team also engages and also increases their experiences, and Bjorgen Thundrik actually levels up to level 3 at the same time, earning 14 experience points in total, and he also got the skill expertise ability. It says whenever a commander makes a non-combat challenge test, they may re-roll 1 additional die. So because that now, Bjorgen Thundrik is a little bit more deadly, a little bit more dangerous in terms of challenges that I might face, so long as they're not combat. So far, I am loving the fact that my crew is this elite 5-man unit. I highly suggest taking that one as well. Armored Force also really helped me out in this scenario as well, because I was pretty much fighting against enemies that pretty much had the same combat scores I did. I'm usually rolling 7d12 usually per combat test for my guys, because most of my guys are combat score 4 with 3+ for their energy weapons, and it was kind of rough going against my opponent this time around because they pretty much had the same kind of stats I did. But luckily for me, though, I did have Armor Force 6 for my guys' life path, so because that did kind of protect them with that edge, so keeping them a little bit more alive as well. So I got really lucky that I lost 1 crew member so far, and he made a full recovery, so no harm, no foul. So now that I'm all done with this challenge, I'm now moving on directly towards the end of the scenario. I was moving on to the Smelting Forges challenge. I decided to take that as my next route, so the next time we'll come back, I'll be playing that challenge. So that's good for this week, guys. As always, please feel free to like, comment, and or subscribe. Your guys' input is valuable to us as always. Also check us out on Facebook, Instagram, as well as blogger.com for all the latest greatest hobby news related to this channel. That's good for this one, you guys. I'll catch you guys next one. Peace out and stay classy.